Dear friends, today we have a special guest in our studio. He is an expert in BBC accent or British Standard accent. Please welcome to the studio, sir.
Hello to everyone. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. Can you give a brief introduction about you, sir?
To talk about myself, my name is T. Baswani. I am an English language teacher, trainer, and a phonetician. I have been working as an English language resource person for the past 20 years at different block resource centers and district institutes of education and training, and the Department of State Education and Training, Bangalore, and the Regional Institute of English. I also have worked as a master trainer for British Council, India. I also have been working for this Oxford University Press India as an ELT resource person, and I have been traveling all across South India for the past 15 years, visiting different English medium schools, having sessions for teachers and students in communicative English and international standard English.
How did you become an expert in BBC English?
Okay, it's all not easy to everyone become an expert in BBC accent or British Standard English accent. I had the habit of listening to radio, international radios like BBC, Voice of America, Radio Deutsche Welle, and Radio Japan, Radio Australia. And I was very much attracted by those international English accents, and I decided to learn those international accents in English. I studied English as a major subject in my first degree and master degree. There I took phonetics and linguistics. There I did a lot of research for the past 20 years, and I experimented a lot of things with this Indian accent and international accents. And I had been practicing a lot, especially speaking in British Standard English or BBC English. And also I studied a lot. I studied a lot of dictionaries, and I worked a lot in phonetics. I've published 3-4 titles in this area. The Best Practical Dictionary is my recent publication. I made a lot of research, the Indian English accent and foreign English accents and the BBC English accents. I've been practicing a lot.
What is the difference between Indian Standard English and British Standard English?
Okay, almost everybody knows whatever English Indians speak is Indian English. Possibly, many people don't know that there are many Indian Englishes. The Indian English accents vary a lot all across India, across different states, different languages and cultures. If you listen to the English of North Indians, Indian-speaking people, their English accent is different. And if you come to South India, South Indian English accent is different. And still, among them, each state has different English accents, depending on their mother tongue. These a lot of variations in English accents in Indian English creates a lot of chaos. This is very difficult to bring unity among Indian English. The sounds of Indian English are very different from the sounds of English in British Standard English. So, eradicate all these local variations, we have devised Indian Standard English. The Indian Standard English is not of world class. It is not of world standard. We want India as an international country. Everybody must be able to speak English in BBC accent or British Standard accent. English spoken by educated English people in UK and in some European countries. The English spoken on the BBC radio, media from other European countries, and the popular TV channels like BBC, National Geographic Channel, and Discovery, BBC Earth, and other academic and entertainment channels use British Standard English. Okay, usually all education institutions and universities across European countries communicate in British Standard English or BBC English. So there isn't much difference between British Standard English and Indian Standard English. There are very few variations, like in the sounds of English we pronounce in India. There are slight differences in vowels and consonant sounds, the stress pattern we have on word, syllabic stress, word stress, and tone and intonation, and some other musical aspects of the spoken language. We have a little difference between Indian Standard English and British Standard English. Okay, compared to Indian Standard English, British Standard English is very much attractive and very much influential, and it's very much impressive on the listener.
Who do you and why do you want to speak BBC English?
It's very good if every English speaker in India speaks a British Standard English, but it's not as easy as we think and say, because there are a lot of things to learn. Indian students or Indian people who are planning to fly abroad to other countries for different purposes like higher studies, research, business, and even settling abroad must be able to speak English with BBC accent. Teachers of English medium schools, colleges, and universities must be able to speak English with British Standard accent. It's very difficult to expect politicians to speak British Standard English in India. Usually media persons working in English TV channels or radio channels and other means of media and communication must speak BBC Standard English. And also in the field of entertainment and communication, tourism, business, banking, and international communication, it's very vital for them to learn to speak English with this BBC accent. Everybody who wishes to speak good English, attractive English, and impressive English can learn to speak this BBC English. Okay, interesting question. Indian Standard English is not accepted as a world standard variety of English. And also, the students who are preparing for studying in at international university and colleges, they have to pass an exam, English language test like TOEFL test, IELTS test, TOEIC test, and other international English language tests they have to pass. So if they can speak English in British Standard English, they can pass their tests easily, and also they'll have better opportunities across the globe. Indians are now in the first place of migrating to other countries. Possibly many people don't know that Indians have been targeted, discriminated, harassed, and sometimes even killed. One is our physical color. The second is our Indian accent, and sometimes we are ignored and rejected with better opportunities. Every Indian who are planning to fly abroad for different purposes must be able to speak English in British Standard English. Okay, just take the example of your former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and the US Vice President Kamala Harris. Even they are born in India, they never speak a single sound of Indian English. All these international Indians who are in different places across the globe, please speak British Standard English in European countries and American Standard English in Americas and Canada. Still, we can acquire better places and positions across the globe.
How do you train those who are interested in learning BBC English?
It depends on their interests and hobby and their attitude to learn to BBC English. First of all, they need to have open-end attitude towards these Englishes. They have to come out of the prejudice that whatever we speak is the best. Watch my videos repeatedly from this YouTube / English Ekalavya. Then you have to study some basics of these phonetics, phonetic sounds and symbols, stress, intonation, and rhythm. And music of English, and also your facial gestures are also very important here. And if you are much interested, you may like to contact me. I can have some online sessions for you, the first and practical sessions of this BBC English accent. If you want to practice this BBC English or British Standard English accent, you must be able to speak English very fluently and with accuracy. And if you can read and write and speak kind of fluently, I have published a dictionary called a Best Practical Dictionary. If you purchase this dictionary and or refer it, it will give a lot of idea to you about this British Standard English or BBC English. Okay, dear friends, thank you very much for listening to me for so long time. I wish you very good luck in learning to speak BBC English or British Standard English to show we are international Indians and not less than any other advanced countries. Best of luck and bye-bye.
Thank you very much for coming to our studio. We wish you the best of luck in training Indians with BBC English. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.